Alrighty guys, we are back again with another video. This week we are going to be talking about the Halls of Atonement, one of the newer dungeons that has been added to the Shadowlands Alpha. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the Halls of Atonement. We're going to talk about why here. So let's just give a breakdown of how Halls of Atonement works. So first off, you have to fight like all of your trash out in this courtyard area. It's fairly open concept, and then you have to kill 3 mini-bosses to be able to activate the first boss, Halakas, the Sin-Stained Goliath. And basically, whenever you kill the mini-boss, it starts charging up his anima power, and then it will end up activating him eventually, right? From there, like after you end up killing all that trash that's out in the courtyard, then you will end up going out inside the manor area, and you will not have to fight any more trash. There's like 1 mini-boss, but that is basically it. From there on out, all you have to fight is 3 bosses and 1 mini-boss. So it's kind of cool. You have Echelon, who his mechanics are fairly interesting. He summons these ads, and then he does like a crash down style ability, and you have to use the crash down to stomp on the ads. And if you don't use the crash down to stomp on the ads, then he eventually uses a revive ability to be able to revive the ads. The ads, whenever they are killed, also explode doing damage. It's interesting to say the least. I guess we'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, whenever you kill the ads, they explode, doing a significant amount of damage. That's how that works. High Priestess of Nathria. So High Priestess of Nathria, basically, it's a boss, and the boss is supposed to summon these boo, like Mario boo style ads that whenever you look at them, they stop moving, and then whenever you turn your back to them, they walk at you, and you're able to like kite them through these like lanterns, and whenever you kite them through the lanterns, they'll just explode, right, and die. However, currently, you're not able to look at them. I think it may just be bugged. Maybe they are going to remove that implementation of that mechanic. Hard to really say. It is the alpha, and it's fairly early on. But that was an interesting fight. It was also just a normal single-target boss fight. Then after High Priestess, you have to go and fight... this mini-boss. And the mini-boss, for some reason, is CCable. I don't fully understand. So, I think Shrine of the Storm... right in front of Lord Stormsong, how you have all those Abyss Dweller eels that are sitting right there, and then like they're on both sides of the pew or whatever. And then there's a mini boss, and you pull the mini boss out into the middle. You try to AoE down all the Abyss Dwellers in this case, and then eventually the mini boss will do a transfusion cast, trying to eat all of the remaining Abyss Dweller-esque mobs. They're not Abyss Dwellers, but you get the point. All of the mobs that are on both sides of the pew, and then for each one he consumes, he heals himself. For some reason, he's CCable, and you can actually stop that drain cast. I don't really understand why. So if for some reason it's on stun DR, you can also cyclone the cast too, or like it doesn't make too much sense, like realistically. But that is in fact how that works. Moonkin looks pretty good there because you can just starfall all the ads and just blow them all up. But it was fairly interesting. And then last but not least, you have Lord Chamberlain, who has these pillars that he like controls with his mind, and he'll bring them into himself, and then he'll like shoot them away, and then he'll start channeling onto one, and you have to soak it. That's basically how the whole entire dungeon works in just a pretty short TLDR. All right, let's talk about what I enjoyed about the dungeon. So first and foremost, I really enjoyed the open concept style of how the trash ended up working. Just the courtyard area in general, there were some like invisible walls that I thought were kind of weird, but I think they were to avoid snapping and like evade spot mechanics, just because some of them are like out of bounds areas, like if they remove that wall. I think if they add a little bit more gateways and they allow you to like jump over stuff, that would be pretty sick. I think that would be fairly cool. I think there's a lot of room for like warlock and gateway skip play in that dungeon. I don't know if any of it's going to like save a significant amount of time, but it'll be interesting. As for fighting the 3 mini-bosses and then charging up Halakas or Halkias or whatever the hell the boss's name is, I think it's interesting. You have to do most of your trash in the first half of the instance or whatever. So it feels kind of Motherlode-esque in that regard, but where Motherlode is like, you do half of your trash you do most of your trash in the first half of the dungeon, and then you don't do any in the back half. It's not like it's a choice here. And I like the style that this has become. I don't think I would like it if every dungeon was like that, where you have to do most of your trash in the first half and you do none in the back half. We've seen it in 2 dungeons consecutively. We saw it in Necrotic Wake and in Halls of Atonement. But I think Halls of Atonement is done well because of how open it is. You're able to pick like what trash packs you're pulling and what trash packs you're not. You're really only limited to those mini boss packs, right? In addition to that, something that kind of caught me off guard that I'm not huge on is the fact that there's a bunch of enrages, and this was also present in Halls of Atonement or in Necrotic Wake as well. Is that there was a lot of enrages in Halls of Atonement? There's like these dogs, and whenever the dogs get enraged, like if you don't have a soothe, you're going to be in for a bad time, and it kind of caught me off guard. Like, sure, Rogue is getting Shiv back to be able to soothe mobs, but like, I don't know, man. Not exactly my most favorite thing. But all in all, I give Halls of Atonement a positive rating. Another thing, okay, so that was all the stuff that I was positive on. Like, I love that it's open concept. I love that you're virtually in control of what packs you're pulling. That's all cool. The mechanics of the trash, they're interesting at least. There's not a freakish amount of caster mobs in there like there is in Necrotic Wake either, which is 2 thumbs up for your boy. I suspect that Halls of Atonement is going to turn into a fairly good dungeon once we do start seeing it in the Mythic Plus environment. Something that was kind of concerning, though, is Echelon. We were talking about the ads, how they explode. They explode doing a significant amount of damage on normal mode currently, like to the point where they want you to... I think they want you to like single target them down, but that's not like really realistic. Okay, so it spawns 6 ads, by the way, so get bent target capped classes. So 6 ads plus the boss. And it's like... They explode doing like 30% of your damage per ad or something like ridiculous. And it was to the point that it caught me so off guard because I was kind of surprised that that was happening in a normal mode dungeon, because what they're showing by that is that you're supposed to be single targeting them down. In my opinion, I don't think that should be the case. I did leave some feedback on the forums that I don't think that should be how that mechanic works. I think that I like the crash down on top of the ads. I don't like that they explode whenever you kill them. I think that you should be punished whenever the ads are resurrected, and then they explode doing damage whenever they're rezzed. I don't think that they should explode whenever they die. To me, that just makes a little bit more sense. Oh yeah, just another thing I remembered. I had already recorded this, and I needed to add this in. There's also a large amount of curse dispels, especially the one that's on Echelon is almost a mandatory dispel. So I don't know what you're supposed to do if you just don't have a curse dispel. So if you don't have a mage, a druid, a shaman in your group, like there's like a slow that turns into a root really quickly that is very challenging to deal with, especially if you don't have a curse dispel for most of the classes, and it ends up stunning you after like 3 or 4 seconds. I don't know what you do if you don't have a dispel for that. It's pretty rough as well. I'm of the opinion that dispel effects should normally be magic so all healers can deal with it though. As for the High Priestess, I think that there needs to be probably a wall here, because there's 6 lamps that you can kite the ads over that blow them up for you. But then after that, I don't really know what you do. Like maybe you just like stack in the corner, you just like look at the ads like this. You just like looking both ways so that because they come out of the sides of the room, so you can position yourself where you're always facing them. I suspect that that'll be a strategy that you use. In addition to that, there's no like walls, so you can actually like walk out of the room with the boss and like have him down below, and then just like look at the ads from like really far away and stop them if that mechanic does stay. That's also something that could happen. I don't think I'm positive or negative on it. It's definitely an interesting interaction though. And then for Lord Chamberlain, I think that's actually a sick fight. I'm 2 thumbs up on that fight. Really enjoyed that one as an encounter. So all in all, if I had to rate this dungeon, I would probably give this a B. A B or a B plus. So a little bit below the Freehold BFA level, but above most of the rest of BFA dungeons. I would say that this is a strong dungeon. Not perfect, but it is a strong dungeon nevertheless. I enjoyed it, personally playing it. So, in the meantime, let's take a look at Moonkin's damage in this dungeon, because I enjoy showing off. So, okay, whenever you look at encounters and trash fights, you'll see that I am top damage, and against my friend Whoa Yeah, Whoa Yeah, Whoa Yeah, which is Ratness, and my top damage is Starfall. Basically, this is all I wanted to talk about, is that Starfall is absolutely doing a significant amount of damage, and I am so grateful that I am no longer casting Star Surge. I'm pretty sure on the alpha you actually Starfall in 3 targets, which is nice. And with all the other classes being AoE capped, Moonkin really needed this, I must admit. We ran the dungeon twice, to be fair, so it's not a sample size of once of me going in there. We ran it twice, and Sang did a lot of damage with his Starfall. He was casting on 2 targets. I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to cast on 3. So, yeah. And then Incarn, I think, is the premier choice for dungeons currently. Or at least it will be once everything ends up shaking out. But anyways, that'll be my Halls of Atonement review. Again, like I said, I'm 2 thumbs up on it. I think the open concept dungeons are always the best. You're able to pick your routes, and you're able to really have a different dichotomy in terms of routing, what trash you're pulling. I'm sure there are going to be some trash packs that are like, do not pull this. Every dungeon has them. But since you have the actual opportunity to be able to skip them, since it is open, that gives you a little bit more leeway and a little bit more opportunity. So all in all, that is going to be the end of the video. I will probably be making one of these for the Necrotic Wake as well. If you guys would like, you can check out my VOD on my Twitch, where I ran this dungeon twice, and you can kind of get a better look for yourself. I'm just going to end up adding some footage and some clips into this, just so you guys can take a gander at that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope you guys like and subscribe this video, and check down in the description for all the rest of my stuff. I will see you guys later. Peace.